When it comes to intentional living, be prepared because your faith, it will be tested. But know this, your faith is literally the only thing you can count on in an intentional way. No matter how positive you are in your endeavors, how sure your prospects seem, or how much you show up in your actions, you're going to be tested, and it's not going to be easy. You're going to come into moments where all you can do is rely on your faith and your inner knowing that everything is going to work out. And sometimes the situation may seem dire. It may bring you to your knees. But it's in these moments where your faith is required most. It's when you have to double down, lean in, and trust. Trust that everything is always working out for you in the best possible way. Trust that whatever is testing you is for your greater good. Trust in the universe and trust in your faith. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to this week's episode of Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers. I'm your host, the founder and creator of the Intentional Home and Living, Courtney Meyers, and today we're talking all about faith. Faith in the unknown. Faith when you are tested. Faith in the universe. Your faith. Now, when it comes to the concept of faith, it starts to get really tricky because no matter what your faith is, you are being asked to blindly believe in something, to blindly believe that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is going to show up and work miracles in your life with no proof sometimes, with no knowledge of how or what or when and where or why it is going to happen. You just have to believe it is going to happen. And when you do allow yourself to truly believe and lean in, that's when miracles start to appear. But it requires you to just take a leap with no safety net and know in your heart that everything is going to work out just right. Now, when it comes to my faith, I am being tested to the limit right now. It was only about 5 months ago that my husband started his company, and my company is just coming up on its first year in business, and we have a lot of great things going for us. My husband has a lot of huge contracts in play, and my book is at a publisher right now for its final review, and things are going really well. But things at home are getting very lean, and it's requiring us to make some decisions. Do we keep going? Do we trust in the process? Or do we need to do something else? For me, we trust. We have to persevere. We have to push through. If we aren't willing to push through and see past this blip in time, this small moment in time, trusting that on the other side of this, everything is going to open up for us, then we are not living our faith. We are not trusting in the universe. We have been guided to this moment. And in my heart, in my gut, I know that this is our final test to see if we have staying power, to see if we can push through and persevere and make it to the other side of this small moment in time so that we can receive all the rewards on the other side. And this is something that happens all the time for entrepreneurs and business people. If it was easy to start a business, if it was easy to build something from the ground up with no safety net and no help, then everyone would do it. Building a business is not for the faint of heart. Going out and doing something led by your intuition and your inner guidance and your inner knowing is not for the faint of heart. You have to be strong. You have to have a certain fortitude about you to be able to push through these tests, because tests are always going to come no matter what you do in your life. That is what we are here for on this planet, is to be tested, is to learn. As souls, we have come down to live a human experience, to learn lessons and to grow and to push past obstacles along our way. That is how you grow. That is how you learn. That is how you become more. That is how you level up. So anyone who has ever started a business or done anything out of the norm or out of their wheelhouse or out of their comfort zone has been tested in ways, especially in the final moments, to see if they really have what it takes, to see if it's really worth it, to see if they can push through. Because when you do push through, things start to get really good. But it is hard. It is really hard. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe all the stress and challenges of going through the building process isn't worth it. Maybe we need to go back to where we were comfortable and just existing. But the fact is, that's not the life we want. That's not the life my husband or I want. We want more. We want to push it further. We want to break the mold. So we have to do this. We have to pass the test. And like I said, it is hard. But the reality is you are going to be tested no matter what you do. Even if it's not in building a business or in a financial situation, it could be in love. It can be in relationships. It could be in friendships. It could be with your family. It doesn't matter. You are always going to face tests. We all have our own individual path and tests we are going to encounter along our human journey. That's just part of being on this planet. That's just part of being in general. And when you signed up for this life that you were living, you already accepted these challenges. You already accepted these tests. It's what you do with them that helps you become who you are and who you are going to become. And the thing is, the tests get harder and harder the closer you are to getting what you truly want. Because the universe, God, your faith, whatever you want to call it, really wants to make sure you do desire what you want, that you are capable of accepting that into your life and running with it and going to the next level. So the tests are always going to come, and they're going to get harder and harder and harder until they're over. And then when you get on the other side of it, things start to get good. You might get a little break, but another test is going to come up. I know for the longest time, I was tested in my relationships on how to build a healthy, happy relationship. And it went on for years until I was ready and willing to love myself enough and accept love in return. I've spent so much of my life thinking that love comes from doing for other people or being something that someone else wants me to be. And it wasn't until I finally realized that I just needed to be me and be loved for who I am, not what I do or what I bring to a relationship, just be myself, that I finally found true love. But when I say I was tested, boy, was I tested. I remember one Easter sitting there with my cousin and his wife and them asking me, well, why haven't you found anyone? What is going on? Why haven't you found a relationship? And I couldn't answer. It was a question I got asked over and over and over again. I was a nice girl. I was a normal girl. I did everything for everyone. I was successful. I was quote unquote wife material, but I wasn't finding a lasting relationship. I had a lot of relationships. I had a lot of chances, and I had a lot of lessons. I had a lot of tests over and over and over again. And it took me 37 years to finally pass the test and find the right person for me. So when I say you are going to be tested, you will be tested over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you finally can push through and realize what the tests and lessons are that you are facing. And it can take years. It can take a long time. Now, right now, with the tests I'm going through, building businesses, becoming an entrepreneur, finding the stability my husband and I so crave, I want to speed it up as much as I can. But every time I try to take control and push our journey faster than it needs to be or faster than it's supposed to be, we encounter a hiccup. We encounter a roadblock. It is crazy because as we are building, we are trying to find other ways to bring in income to help ease our transition, which has led us to doing Uber Eats deliveries. It's really comical to me. And actually, I find it quite fun because we're new to Tennessee. And so I'm getting to learn a lot of different areas. And my husband and I take turns doing it with the kids or when the kids are not around. And it's really a funny scenario because, on one hand, we're talking huge contracts with my husband's finance business, and my book is at a publisher, and we're out here delivering food to other families, getting to kind of get to know our neighborhoods a little bit more. And it's one way of me taking control of the scenario and making sure that we can have some stability financially while giving us the freedom to show up and work on our two businesses that we have been guided to create. But the funny thing about it is that by doing this, it is in a way my husband and I trying to take control over a scenario as opposed to leaning into our faith that our two businesses are working out for the best. And the universe has a funny way of showing its power in those moments. It was a couple weeks ago, we were going to go out on a weekend to do our deliveries, which is prime time to make some good money. And we go out to the car and the check engine light is on. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago. We needed a new alternator. We couldn't drive all weekend. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, until late on Tuesday, our car was down and we weren't able to go out and make what little money we could to just bring in to make things a little bit easier for the family at this moment of time. So that was another little test in the big picture test of us trying to take control and do something more, and the universe saying, no, no, no. You need to go back inside. You need to work on your main thing. This is not going to work for you. You cannot control the scenario. And it took me a couple days to realize that this was a test. It took me a couple days to accept it. I was mad. I was really mad at the universe. But my husband kept reminding me, there is another reason for this. This isn't happening to us. This is happening for us. And that is one of the biggest things about faith. You have to accept that things happen for you and not to you. This happened for me, like I said before, so that I could finish my book proposal, so that I could get the book to the publisher. And now my book is with the publisher. The head of acquisitions loved it and has passed it on to another editor. And that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened in the timeline had my husband or I gone out that day to do deliveries for pennies on the dollar. But at the same time, you do what it takes to make your dreams happen. You do what it takes to show up so that you can push through in the other parts of your life. So there's a little bit of give and take when it comes to faith. There's a little bit of give and take when you're dealing with the universe. There's a little bit of control and let go that all need to happen at the same time to let it work out together. But you do have to have faith. And it is hard. I am really being tested by this. I am being tested in so many different ways because everything about the intentional home and living, everything about intentional living with Courtney Meyers, everything about this first book, The Intentional Home, is about owning this part of you, is about stepping into your faith, is about unlocking the inner you and living a more authentic life. And the fact is, living authentically is a test of faith in its own. It is not easy to live authentically. It is not easy to always share your truth. It is so much easier to put up a facade and make believe everything is great and not let everyone into your life. But when you do that, you aren't being authentic and you aren't allowing the real you to show. And when you don't allow the real you to show, you're showing the universe that you don't have faith in the real you at all. I actually experienced this power of authenticity in the last week. In 2 separate conversations with 2 separate friends, I got truthful. I let them know that at the moment, I didn't have the extra time or money to do a couple fun activities that they had invited me to do. And it was hard for me. I didn't want to have to say it. I didn't want to put that out there, but it felt good to be honest and truthful as opposed to making up a reason why we couldn't get together. And when I did that, something magical happened. It opened up the door for them to get honest with me. Not more than 20 minutes passed, and one of my friends sent me a text how she was afraid that she was going to lose her job. She works for Disney, and Disney just announced, literally in a meeting about 15 minutes after our text message, that they were having massive layoffs, and she was scared. And she didn't really have anyone to turn to. So it was nice that I could be that person for her because I opened up the door of authenticity and truth so that she could share her fears with me, and we were able to connect on that level. Then once again, over the weekend, I ran into my neighbor and we were talking about how the state of the world is right now. And I had been honest with her about a week before about why I didn't have as much time to hang out and get together like we used to. So when we ran into each other over the weekend, she started talking to me about the same thing, that she was thinking about doing some sort of side hustle, side gig herself, that things in their financial situation weren't as flush as they used to be, that things that are happening in the economy now are affecting them too. And the fact is, things that are happening to you are happening to someone else at all times. So when you get authentic and you match that with your faith, that everything is working out for you and everything is going to work out in the end, everything starts to align. So that is my intention for you this week, to accept a challenge in your life, to accept a test, get authentic about it, own it, name it, put it out into the universe and give it up. Lean in. Trust that it is going to work out. The first step to pushing through any test or any challenge or any adversity is to name it, is to own it, is to accept it, and then to release your control over it and just continue to work through it. Show up every day. Keep doing the actions you're doing. Keep pushing towards your goal. Know in your heart that this is going to work out, whatever it may be, whether it be love, whether it be business, whether it be friendship, whatever your test is, it is going to work out when you have faith in the universe and you own it. You show up, you own it. You own whatever you are going through, but you also trust. You own your faith. You own your belief that this test is something that is going to make you stronger, that your faith is going to see you through it, that whatever you believe in your heart, in your true authentic self, is going to be revealed by this test. And when you own it and you overcome it, the doors open up for you. Life opens up for you, and you can move on to the next level. I am living proof of this. I am dealing with it right now. I am on this journey with you, and I will stand by you as you do this. So take comfort in the fact that whatever challenges and tests you are facing, it is for you. It is for your greater good, and you will get through it, no matter how long it takes, whether it's years, months, days, we don't know. It's not for us to know. That is where your faith comes in. So have faith, even in the hardest of times. Have faith. Every time I think about this, all I ever hear is that song, "You Gotta Have Faith." It plays over and over and over again in my head. Every day when I leave the house, when I'm driving, when I'm going to the grocery store, taking my daughter to dance or school, I see angel numbers. 222, 333, 444, all signifying to me that I am on the right path, that I need to have faith in the universe, that things are going my way. So keep a lookout in your life for little reminders of keeping the faith, and that you can rely on your faith to get you through. And know when your faith is tested, you can always reach out to a friend, to us, to anyone, because the universe loves your truth. The universe loves when you show up authentically. And when you show up authentically, the support comes and your faith gets stronger. So lean into that faith. Lean into your faith. You'll be happy you did. Thank you so much for listening this week. As always, you can find The Intentional Home and Living at CourtneyMyers.com on YouTube and on social. Give us a follow for more intentional content, and keep your eyes open for The Intentional Home coming out in 2023. I will see you next week. Bye.